Today, legislators continue to grill Secretary Kathleen Sebelius on the launch of healthcare.gov.
WYMT's Matthew Rand met with two Kentucky lawmakers in Washington, D.C. today who have some very different opinions about the issue.
Another day in Washington brings more controversy surrounding the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius apologized before lawmakers Wednesday for difficulties people have been experiencing with the national health care site.
Sooner or later they'll get the website fixed, but that ain't going to solve the problem.
With the bumpy rollout of the healthcare.gov website, Senator Mitch McConnell says at a minimum, the portion of the healthcare law requiring individuals to buy insurance should be delayed by a year.
Look, the president on his own has already delayed the business mandate, the employer mandate for a year. Why should businesses be treated better than individuals?
McConnell says as many as half of the 600,000 Kentuckians with private insurance plans will lose their coverage at the end of the year. Kentucky Representative John Yarmouth admits the website rollout has been rocky, but the criticism of the Obama administration is unfair.
And they say, well, the president said if you like your insurance policy, you can keep it. Well, that is if the insurance company continues to offer that policy, and a lot of insurance companies are making business decisions to get out of certain markets.
Yarmouth says delaying the individual mandate now would be premature, and administration officials should be given time to sort out the kinks. Sebelius has promised lawmakers the issues surrounding the national healthcare website will be resolved by November 30th. In Washington, I'm Matthew Rand. Now back to you.
Kathleen Sebelius apologized to legislators today and said, quote, "You deserve better." In 2011, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention labeled America's prescription painkiller overdose problem an epidemic. As WYMT's Matthew Rand reports, this week, Representative Hal Rogers co-sponsored two separate bills designed to place tighter restrictions on OxyContin and hydrocodone.
On Wednesday, Rogers joined more than 40 bipartisan members of Congress in sponsoring the Safe Prescribing Act of 2013, which would reclassify hydrocodone-based painkillers like Vicodin and Loratab from Schedule 3 to Schedule 2. Rogers says the bill would prevent doctors from overprescribing these medicines.
If we can get those out of the family medicine cabinet, where it no longer fuels addiction and overdoses around the country, will be a big step ahead.
On Thursday, Rogers and others took aim at OxyContin with the Stop Oxy Abuse Act of 2013. He says the bill will prohibit pharmaceutical companies from producing generic forms of the drug that are not crush resistant.
When you take away the time release part of that drug and you use that 12-hour release instantly, it's a severe high.
Drug policy advocates praise the new legislation, saying lawmakers are finally acknowledging prescription drug abuse is a national problem.
This is really the first time that we've seen these monumental steps forward to get drugs off the street and to close down these unscrupulous doctors and the scourge that they're causing.
Advocates say one person dies every 15 minutes from a prescription drug overdose. They say the bills are steps in the right direction to keep these drugs off the streets. In Pulaski County, Matthew Rand, WYMT Mountain News.
Congressman Rogers will deliver a keynote address at the upcoming National Prescription Drug Abuse Summit, which takes place April 2nd through the 4th in Orlando, Florida.
Last night, we told you about the budget deficit faced by the Floyd County Sheriff's Office. Today, we spoke with the sheriff as well as the county judge executive about what both agree is a difficult financial situation.
It feels like they're just picking on me.
Sheriff John K. Blackburn says he did not sign off on a budget passed Monday by the Floyd County Fiscal Court that cuts his budget for payroll nearly in half and requires the Sheriff's Department to begin shouldering the cost of health insurance and retirement for employees.
There's no way I have that money when I have to borrow money just to make the payroll in January and February.
But Judge Executive R.D. Doc Marshall says decreases in coal severance and other revenue streams mean the county now faces a roughly $2.5 million deficit.
I've actually approached them for several years now and how that we could overcome a lot of these financial difficulties, but there was simply no action.
Beginning January 1st, the sheriff says he has no choice but to make layoffs and shut down his office after 4 p.m. With evening and overnight services suspended, the sheriff says he worries what that will mean for the safety of the people of Floyd County.
The way crime is this day and time, we definitely need law enforcement. But evidently the fiscal court don't feel that way.
Then there comes the time when you have none to pay, and that's where we're at.
Judge Marshall says the county is at a stop sign in the road, and something has to be done to shore up the deficit. The sheriff says he has already told 7 of his employees today would be their last day at work, and he expects more layoffs will follow. Officials from coal country testified before a House subcommittee Tuesday in a hearing titled EPA's Regulatory Threat to Affordable, Reliable Energy, the Perspective of Coal Communities. The panel included one county judge from Eastern Kentucky.
Eastern Kentucky's economy is more dependent upon coal than Detroit is upon the auto industry.
That is how Bell County Judge Executive Albie Brock described the weight of coal job losses to a House subcommittee Tuesday. The Kentucky Environment and Energy Cabinet reports a loss of more than 4,000 Eastern Kentucky coal jobs between December of 2012 and the previous year. Brock blames the trend on recent decisions by the Environmental Protection Agency.
I cannot imagine that the EPA calculated the human impact of their decisions that have so negatively impacted the coal industry in Eastern Kentucky.
Kentucky Representative John Yarmouth, who serves on the House Energy and Commerce Committee's Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations, says job losses cannot be blamed on one president's environmental policy.
Decline in mining jobs did not start 2 years ago or 6 years ago when this president took office. It started more than 3 decades ago with the advent of mechanized mining and mountaintop removal.
Brock told lawmakers layoffs from coal mining have been so severe that many are choosing to leave Eastern Kentucky to try to find work elsewhere. In Washington, Matthew Rand, back to you.
All right, thank you, Matthew, for that report. And just to add what he was saying, Stephen Morgan, a lot of the speakers today shared concerns at the rally about upcoming meetings. The EPA is holding a series of public meetings on these new regulations, but they are in cities like Boston and San Francisco. And speakers today complain that the EPA should come to coal country, and hopefully the two sides can sit down and find some common ground. We'll have much more coming up tonight at 11. Stephen Morgan.
All right, Tanner Hesterberg and Matthew Rand, great job reporting from Washington, D.C. today.